The Little Mermaid. Far out in the ocean, far from shore, there lived a princess. This princess was very much like other princesses you may have met, with one exception. Sarah was a mermaid. She lived deep in the ocean at the palace of her father, the Sea King. Her father decreed that his 6 daughters could not go to shore until their 15th birthday. Finally, on her birthday, Sarah swam to the surface of the water. The sun had just set as she raised her head above the waves. The clouds were tinted crimson and gold, and through the glimmering twilight beamed the evening star in all its beauty. She swam up to a large ship. The young mermaid swam close to the windows where she saw a young prince. He was so handsome with large brown eyes, and it was his 16th birthday, and they were celebrating. There was even fireworks flying through the sky. The party was so loud that the sailors did not notice the lightning flashing in the sky along with the fireworks. In what seemed like an instant, the raging storm blew across the ship. "Look out!" Sarah screamed, but no one could hear her over the music and the storm. A fierce wave crashed into the ship, tossing it violently, and to her horror, Sarah saw the prince was washed overboard. Sarah dove deeply under the dark waters. She managed to reach the young prince and pull him to shore. She then gently cradled him to keep him warm and sang softly to him until the sun came up. She saw the color come back to his cheeks. A young girl approached the beach, and Sarah quickly hid. As the girl drew near the handsome prince, he opened his eyes and said, "Thank you for saving me. You have a beautiful voice." "It wasn't me who saved you from the sea," the young girl replied. "But I'm ever so glad I found you. The whole kingdom has been searching for you since last night." Sarah dove sorrowfully into the water and returned to her father's castle. For 2 days, she wept alone in her room. On the 3rd day, Sarah woke up having made the decision to go back to the human world, which she knew her father would never allow. So she went to see the witch of the ocean. The witch smiled when she saw Sarah approaching, knowing magically what she would ask for. "I warn you, girl," the old woman said, extending her hand with a small bottle of black liquid towards Sarah. "In exchange for your wish to be human, you have to trade me your voice, and if your true love does not marry you, you will never speak again, and you will perish." The little mermaid carefully took the bottle from the witch and swam to the shore where she had last seen the prince. She drank the magic potion and fainted. The prince was walking dreamily along the shore and spotted Sarah and ran over to her. "Who are you, and how did you come to the beach?" the prince asked gently. But Sarah couldn't answer. She instead smiled, and he offered her his hand and took her back to the palace. The prince was kind to Sarah, but to her sorrow, he treated her like a little sister. His heart was with the woman who found him on the shore, whom he thought had rescued him from the sea. After a time, Sarah realized the young man would never be hers. Sarah's sisters worried about her, so they made their own deal with the sea witch. They traded their hair for a magic knife. As Sarah walked along the beach one morning, she was surprised to see her sisters without their hair. They explained their trade and gave her a magic knife, letting Sarah know that if she killed the prince with this knife, she would be allowed to return to the sea as a mermaid once more. Sarah smiled at her sisters and waved them farewell. She threw the knife deep into the ocean. She could never bring herself to kill the young man who had her heart. So the day came that the prince and the woman from the shore were married. All the kingdom rejoiced. Although she felt sorrow, Sarah was happy that she had gotten to spend time with the prince and happy that he had found someone to truly love. All that is left for me to do is melt into sea foam and rejoin the ocean that was once my home, Sarah sighed to herself. Just then, a fairy who had been watching the scene flew down and placed her hand on Sarah's hand. The fairy had seen Sarah's great kindness and compassion. As the fairy lifted her hand, Sarah found herself becoming light as a feather and sprouting wings. The little mermaid smiled brightly, for she could not think of a more wonderful way to live than fluttering like a butterfly, watching over the humans she had left the sea to meet. The end.